Hey guys, and welcome to another video on the channel. In this collection of videos we're focusing on the European Team Championships, the national team championships that are being played around Europe during the months of February, March and April. And our second game in this collection is a matchup from the Swedish Team Championship, more specifically the teams Springer and Kungstormet. This match was played on the 9th of March 2025 and features with the white pieces Grandmaster Valery Kazakouski, rated 2551, and with the black pieces International Master Patrick Lyrberg, rated 2435. Now, Kazakouski is quite a young player. He's 25 years old, born in 2000. And I don't think he's reached his peak yet. Whereas Lyrberg is more a player of my generation. He's from the year 76. Very strong international master, but didn't reach the Grandmaster title. And he's very near the 50-year range. And we are going to see an Alekhine defense. So those of you who like the Alekhine defense, be ready. E4, knight to f6, e4, e5, knight to d5, d4. Now, as you all know, Alekhine defense continues with d6, and here white has a myriad of options, most of them with c4, knight to b6. But Lyrberg plays knight to b6 directly. And one of the ideas behind this move is that against knight to f3, he can go d5 straight away, which is good for black in many lines. Of course, here white can go c4, and then normally d6 will transpose, but maybe sidestepping some of the lines. For example, this variation is good if you know that your opponent plays always knight to f3 against the Alekhine, because then you can go d5, and you may win a tempo in some lines. Now, bishop to e2 is okay, bishop to d3 is okay, h3 is okay, many okay lines, but pawn takes pawn is very principal. Black can recapture with both pawns. For this game, Patrick decides to play with the e-pawn, symmetrical position, and both players develop their pieces very naturally and reasonably, locating good squares. And now, white goes for knight d2, with the idea knight to f1, knight to g3, followed by h3, trying to unpin the bishop and get the bishop pair. Now this maneuver, as many of you know, is very typical of Ruy Lopez. Italian, any open games will feature this maneuver. But here also it's interesting, so it's good to know certain maneuvers, you can use them in different positions. Excuse me. Bishop h5 is correct. We drop back voluntarily and we go for the exchange of bishops. This is perfectly correct. Knight to f1, bishop to g6, knight to g3, knight to c6, and c3. Now this pawn formation, I've highlighted it in green, sort of blocks the action of the two knights in a certain sense. So this is strong. Bishop takes, queen takes, rook e8. I do think the black is very near to equalizing the position. He's exchanged the light square bishop, which is good for black. Not much attack now. And he has good control of the light squares. However, white still has some potential due to the f5 square and due to the e file. So black still has to be a bit careful. Bishop to d2. d5 is a good move, highlighting this square, but not without the danger of a knight coming here at some point. Knight to f5. And this is the first interesting position. Now, a knight to f5 is always very dangerous. We've seen several games where that knight crushes black. So bishop to f8 would have been reasonable, starting to trade on the e file. Patrick played knight to c4, aggressive, hitting the b2 pawn. And of course, if white has to protect the b2 pawn, then it's not so good, because now we drop back and we threaten to change rooks, winning a tempo because of the b2 unprotected pawn. So Kazakouski goes in for his deep think and plays bishop to f4, sacrificing the b2 pawn. Should we capture it or shouldn't we capture it? Lyrberg didn't capture it. He played queen to d7, which is still okay, but not the best move. He should have captured the pawn, hitting the queen. And now I think that Kazakouski would have played queen to b5, hitting the pawn on b7 and also the knight. Knight to c4, queen to b7, attacking the knight, but also attacking the pawn on c7, queen to d7. And now it's unclear to me what might have happened here. The queen is attacking the knight, so we have to exchange. And I wonder if something in this position wasn't to the liking of Lyrberg. Bishop takes can't be good because the queen is pinned and will lose material. Was it queen takes? Who knows? Can we defend this position? A pawn down. But this sort of position could be defendable. With a pawn down, but this pawn is weak. I don't know. In any case, Lyrberg didn't want to play this position. Excuse me. I'm having a bit of a throat problem these days. And he played queen to d7. b3, pushing the knight back. Lyrberg makes a fatal mistake now. He should have played knight to b6, and he'd be slightly worse after rook to e2. But no one jumps to c4 and then wants to go back to b6. And he played knight to d6, challenging the knight and the bishop. Not a bad move in itself, but here it's a tactical mistake. But it's not easy to see why. So I suggest you pause the video and see if you can find the tactical solution that Kazakouski used here to win the game. This is a decisive advantage for white. Can you find it? Did you see it? I hope some of you saw it. You can pause the video. I take 3 or 4 minutes if you really want to improve your tactical skills. Now, he played bishop takes knight, keeping the knight on f5. And now, fantastic move, knight to g5. Now he's threatening knight to e7 check, and then queen takes h7. Also the threat is knight to d6 followed by queen to h7, and also knight to h6. So he has 3 different threats. How to stop that? Only move g6. But now, even though we could play check and knock off the pawn on f7, which would be very good for us, there's an even better move. Queen to h3. Fantastic move. And this is the move that Kazakouski played, forcing his opponent to resign. The reason is we're threatening queen to h7 and mates, but we're also threatening knight to h6 check, picking up the queen on d7. And there's no way that black can protect both threats at the same time. And therefore he resigned, leaving Valeri to score a very nice win against the Alekhine defense. So I hope you enjoyed this game. If you play the Alekhine, you have to be careful. But playing any position, always be careful. There could be a hidden tactic anywhere. Keep learning, keep improving. Pay attention to the hidden tactics.